Hi guys, Mrs. Scott here. All right, we are going to move on to lesson 7. All right, so let's get right on into it, okay? So lesson 7 is going to talk about taking our, there we go, sorry about that. I wanted to make sure my face was still in the corner so you could see me when I'm talking. Okay, so lesson 7 is taking decimals and our decimals and fractions that we've been working in, and we are now going to put them into expanded form, okay? I am going to jump right into it, all right? So I have my first number right here, all right? And this number reads as 300, 378 and 73 hundredths, okay? So now I need to put that into expanded form, okay? And how would I go about that, okay? I'm just gonna go one place value at a time, all right? And I put this right here in my place value chart because it's gonna make it easier for me to let me know how to write this, okay? So say if I have to start this first, we'll do it as a fraction first, okay? Fraction. And they call it, we're gonna do it as our fraction notation, okay? And we're gonna talk about how much each value is worth, okay? So I'm gonna start with my biggest number, which is always the biggest place value. So here I have 3, but it's 300. So 300 plus 7 tens, which is worth 70, plus 8 ones, which is worth 8, okay? Now we're getting into the tricky part. How am I going to express 3/10 as a fraction? Oh, we already know that. That's old hat, right? 3/10. Perfect. And our last one, oh my goodness, Mrs. Scott, you read the wrong number. How many tenths do I actually have, guys? I actually have 7, so I need to fix that. Whoop. It's a good thing we use erasers here because we're fancy. 7, and then my last one would be 3/100, and I'm going to represent that as 3/100. Okay, now I need to express it maybe in a decimal form. How would I go about and do that in a decimal form? Well, that's already done for me because it's already represented in my place value chart. Okay, so I'm going to call this my decimal notation. Okay. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start in our biggest place value. Nothing's changing. 300 plus 7 tens, which is 70, plus 8 ones. Okay, but now instead of representing 7/10 as a fraction, I need to represent 7/10 as a decimal. And remember, we just look at it, okay? So it's 0. Oh, I almost wrote 3 again, 7, okay? Then plus my hundredths, my 300ths, plus 0.03. And when we smush all of those together, that's when we get our full number, oh, my bad, of 378 and 73 hundredths, okay? Let's do a little bit more practice with that, all right? Let's go to the next page. All right, so this time, I kind of already mapped everything out, but we're gonna put it into the place value chart together, okay? So my number reads as, I'm just going to move things around so that I can see a little bit better. Okay. My number reads as 920 and 37 hundredths. Okay. I'm going to plug my number in, line up my decimals so that I know perfectly. And I'm just going to take each number one at a time and plug them in. I'm going to start all the way over my smallest number because that's how I like to work. It's my preference. Okay. So 7, 3. Okay. My decimals lined up. Then I have a 0, I have a 2, and a 9, okay? 920 and 37 hundredths. Now I need to represent this as a fraction notation or decimal notation, which again, we know notation is our fancy form for our expanded form, okay? So let's keep working on this. Let's keep on moving and grooving, all right? So again, starting with our biggest place value. So in this case, our biggest place value is hundreds, great job. And I have how many hundreds? I have 900. Okay, how many tens do I have? I have 2 tens, which is worth 20. Uh-oh, I have 0 ones, 0 ones. If I have 0 ones, do I have to put that in there? I don't. I get to skip it, which means I'm going to go right next to my tenths. How many tenths do I have? I have 3. And again, I'm representing this as a fraction, so it's 3 over 10. Beautiful. I knew I heard somebody say that. And then my last one is 7 hundredths. All right. Now we're doing it in decimal notation. Exact same thing. 9 hundredths plus 20 or 2 tens plus, I don't have any ones. I need to represent 3 tenths as a decimal. 0. Oh my goodness, 0.3. Good, I knew somebody was correcting me. I could already hear you in my head. And then I need to represent 7 hundredths, which is 0.07. All right. All right, we're going to do one last example, and then that's it for lesson 7, okay? So let's read our number together as we have it. It is, well, let's switch out our color. You know I like to be jazzy, okay? 346 and 8 hundredths. Oh goodness, now I don't have any tenths. Let's plug it in. Let's just plug it into our place value chart and figure it out together, okay? So I have 3, 4, 6. Oh, line up my decimal. Okay. And then I have 0, 8. Okay, let's just go down our line like we do, right? How many hundredths do I have? 3 hundredths plus how many tenths? I have 4 tenths, which is worth 40. I have how many ones? 6. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into some fanciness right here. I have 0 tenths. So what do I do if I have 0 tenths? Do I have to write 0 over 10? No, I'm going to skip it, just like I would if there were a 0 in another place value, okay? We're going to go to our next and last place value, which is our hundredths, and we have 8 hundredths. How do we represent that as a fraction? 8 over 100. Perfect. Now let's do it as a decimal, okay? 300 plus our 4 tens, which is 40, plus our 6 ones, plus, okay, I don't have any tenths, so I'm going right to my hundredths, which is 0.08, okay? So that is lesson 7 for you. It's taking your fractions and your decimals, and we're just expanding them into expanded form like we did in our first module, okay? Well, that's all I have here for this lesson. I hope that that's all I have for this lesson. So I look forward to seeing you join me for lesson 8. Bye.